What's up, y'all? It's your boy Kuya P, Derek Dunn, Heather Hertz. We just got out of the press screening for Wicked for Good. Initial thoughts as we do, Derek.
So solid sequel. As a fan of the play, I don't see how they're going to pull it off. Couple of minor gripes. The makeup on the scarecrow at the end. Yeah, they could get some with that budget a little bit more, but overall it's solid and it does work.
All right, Heather, what did you think?
As a theater kid, I think this could have been one film, but I've been complaining about that since the beginning. You can definitely tell the stuff that they filled in that they added. Otherwise, it's a fun film. I think that a lot of people are going to enjoy it, especially the diehards. I think they're going to enjoy it just because it's Wicked.
Yeah. All right, for me, this was my introduction. I wasn't into the theater and all that, like my theater homie over here. I enjoyed it. Like her, though, I think I would rather had it one long ass film, because I don't think it stands alone on its own. But overall, it's an enjoyable film. We're gonna have a lot of thoughts. So shout out to my pal Derek Dunn, as always. Look for his review on Reviews and Done. Heather and I will be getting into it, so look for that review here on the NRW. Nerds Rule the World. It's your boy QP. Shout out to Derek. Shout out to Heather. We out. Peace.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the NRW, where Nerds Rule the World. I'm Heather Hurt. That is Kuya P. And we are going to preface this with this review is going to be as spoiler-free as possible, but if you know anything about the book, the original story, the musical, you already know everything. So we're going to say there will probably be some spoilers. But all the big stuff we're gonna keep out of this. Yes, we do not want to piss off Wicked fans. We're not even worried about Universal. We're just worried about Wicked fans in this review. With that being said, let's start with the trailer. Let's talk Wicked for Good.
Elphaba Throp, I know you're out here. Just come in before the monkeys spot you.
There's no going back. This is between us, the wizard, and I.
The Wicked Witch can't elude us forever. Not with Prince Fiero and his squadron hot on her trail.
No good deed goes unpunished. That's my creed.
The wonderful Wizard of Oz. No one believed in you more than I did.
Elphaba. They're coming for you.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason. I know I'm who I am today because I knew you.
Think of what we could do together.
Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun. Like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant war. Who can say if I've been changed for the better?
Bring me the broom of the Wicked Witch of the West.
For a while there, I thought you changed.
I have changed.
It's time.
For both of us.
To fly!
Because I knew you.
You're the only friend I ever had.
Because I knew you.
And I've had so many friends.
I have been changed for good.
But only one that mattered.
I'm off to see the wizard.
Wicked for Good, the second part of the Wicked franchise. It was directed by Jon M. The writers included Winnie Holtzman and Dana Fox. It is based off of the novel by Gregory Maguire and the musical from Stephen Schwartz. And of course, everything is based off of the book by L. Frank Baum. If you know, that was the Wonderful Wizard of Oz, that book, you know, the that one. I'm sure you've never heard of it before, not once. The cast features Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, Ariana Grande, who plays Glinda. She is Glinda in this film. Jeff Goldblum, who plays the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Michelle Yeoh, who is Madame Marble. Jonathan Bailey, who's Fiyero. Ethan Slater, who is Bach. Marissa Bode, who is Nessa Rose. I also want to just kind of shout out Peter Dinklage, even though he's not not so much in this film. He does, of course, voice Dr. Dillamond. And we have Coleman Domingo as the Cowardly Lion, Bowen Yang as Feeny, and Browen James as Shin Shin. Amazing cast. The fact that this is huge, such a huge cast, should not go unrecognized. There is an amazing group of people that put their heart and soul into this film, as they do all films. So shout out to the entire goddamn country that made this film. And with that, the plot is very simple. It happens. We now know that Elphaba has made her stance clear against the Wizard of Oz and against Madame Marble. And she is now fighting to save the animals and to make sure people are aware of the fraudulent nature of the current government system. This does take place a little while after, of course, the events of Wicked. As an example, as you can see behind you from behind Kuya P right there, the yellow brick road is now there, and of course we do know that Dorothy, even though she is not named or really seen in this film, because this is not Dorothy's story. Period. This happens during that period within the storyline, and it's pitting these two against each other ish. Our best friends ever, truly enemies. With that, Kuya P, I'm going to give my initial thoughts real quick. My initial thoughts always were, I never understood why why this was put into two films. And I think I said that in our reaction. So Kuya P, I'll give you the floor for the total initial reaction.
Yeah, I'm with Heather as well on that. I didn't come with any preconceived stuff on it. I didn't see the musical stuff, which we spoke on when we did our first Wicked review. So this is all new to me. I thought the first one was great, and my initial thoughts for this one is, I'm curious the separation when it's a whole film, and is it a standalone film that it needs that? So that was going to be my thought, and we'll get into that with the review portion of this. But intrigued, interested in where the story is going to go, and is it for all the reasons like why we have A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, to make it a reasonable separation, like those films are, where you need those different setups. So that was kind of my initial thoughts on this.
Okay, all right. It's kind of it for us when it comes to the initial thought. I knew the film, I knew the musical, or I knew the musical and I knew the books, so I thought it was really weird. So let's get right into the review from here. Kuya P, let's just talk cinematical review of this. We'll talk personal thoughts after. Just your plain review here.
My plain review is that we got more of the same. I enjoyed the first one, and we got more of it. The costuming was brilliant, as it was in the first. The location, well, they did film this all together, so it was gonna be all 110%. But yeah, more of the same. The music, again, I'm not as familiar with the music because I didn't know all the other stuff. So there's two songs I know that are new that Heather pointed out. Were noticeable to her, but for me, I didn't notice it. I thought everything was fine. I thought we got more of the same. And so if you love the first one, you're going to enjoy this one. Those are my thoughts. I had a great time with this. My biggest critique, which will be in the more of the personal side, is what I would rather have seen with this. But overall, as two films, solid. If you enjoy the first one, you'll enjoy the second one.
Just to echo what KP just said, I have a very similar statement to what I would have said to Lord of the Rings 20 years ago. There is benefit of filming a ongoing story together. it feels more consistent. It looks more consistent. You don't have that pause in life. There was a moment in the film where you can tell where they did some reshoots, specifically with stuff with Ariana Grande, and it's primarily. I do not want to talk about her current appearance or Cynthia's. I do not want to get into that. It is not our place to judge what somebody looks like or what they are dealing with to put them in a physical state that they are in. But I will say there are definitely some physicality changes that you see with Ariana in one scene, and you can tell that there was a time lapse. But other than that, there is strength and consistency in doing it all together. Overall, the story was cohesive. It is not, the second act in the musical is not as strong as the first part. It is very quick. It basically happens in like 48 hours. That's really how it feels. It's more like 72, but at least that's how it feels. It's a very quick turnaround, whereas the first act is supposed to be long, drawn out. You're supposed to feel the growth and development of these characters. Really, you just get bam, 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 and the film is done in this one. I do think that you could very clearly tell where the new songs are added because they sound nothing like all of the other songs. It felt like unnecessary filler at times. At the same time, one of the songs in particular, I could definitely see why they added it, to add that emotional barrier for the audience. I agree with Kuya P. The costuming was incredible. I actually liked the costuming in this film more than I liked in the first film. But at the same time, they were college kids. They weren't supposed to be like all glitz and glam. This felt very grown up. It felt like they grew up in this film, and that was so important. My number one complaint, and I'm actually going to connect this. I was thinking about this in the film. When Mamma Mia came out, I saw the initial run of Mamma Mia. So I felt really upset when this happened. When Pierce Brosnan sang, and it was just awful. Nobody expected him to be great, but it was just terrible. Those are the same feelings I had with, and this is going to break my fucking heart to say, with Michelle Yeoh. She did not live up to Madame Marble at all. We know that girl. We know she sang. She has sung in her past. We know she is a ballerina. We know she has the acting chops, but it did not feel like she put her all into this at all. And I'll even go back. She wasn't in a lot of the first film, but you could even feel it a little bit there. Here, it really felt like she just got a role and she just did it and then left. Like, I didn't feel any emotional, either anger or otherwise, to her. I didn't feel it. And that is probably one of the biggest drops in my heart for all of this, because Kuya P and I are probably two of the biggest Michelle Yeoh fans on the planet. We love her to absolute fucking death. It was disappointing. She even talked, and this is okay. I think Kuya P and I have talked about this in the past. If you can't sing and you would rather talk it out, that's fine, but then do that the entire time. Don't half sing and then go into words. She had lines where she should have sang and then she just didn't. She sang and then it was very weird. I think they could have done so much better with a little bit better direction with her. But on the opposing side, Jeff Goldblum has a very specific voice, and he is not the most phenomenal singer. Yes, he can sing. He does do jazz. Yes, he is a musician. But he's a phenomenal singer, but I think they really evened out what he could and couldn't sing. They gave him a really good separation there of, they helped him out. It was fun to see Coleman Domingo run in as the Cowardly Lion, and that's kind of Ethan Slater as Bach and turning into what he turns into. Some overacting, but hey, what is a musical if it's not overacting? With that, let's talk more personal stuff, because as a theater kid, I love talking that. So, Kuya P, what were your personal likes, dislikes about the second part of the story?
I really don't have any dislikes, to be honest. Not that this doesn't have its negatives to it. If anything, the negative would be my critique, and then I kind of alluded to this earlier, is that there needs to be a reason for this to be separate from the other one, and distinctive where it can stand alone. I think if you haven't seen the first one, then you might not have a clue what's going on and how important certain characters are. I think it needs to be able to walk on its own, and I don't know if this film set itself up enough for it to walk on its own. So I would rather have this been one big 4-hour film than two separate films. And think that's somewhat similar to your Heather, but I won't speak for you. I know you're going to talk on that point. But for me, not that that is a critique, because I still think it was an enjoyable, good film. I just don't think it had enough grit to it to be a separate film, if you will. But again, an enjoyable film. Not enough Bowen, as a personal Bowen stan. He only had a little small piece in it. So there's that. Michelle's song was kind of, I had fun with it. It was cool to see how the Wizard of Oz came into play, and how that kind of intermingled with our main cast and how certain things changed, but I won't spoil that. But the musical people and people that know Wicked know already that. So for me, as a non-person that had seen it, to see those mixing into the characters was very cool to see. And then the reveals and how they got shown and presented within it was cool. Glad that, this is spoilers, that Dorothy really doesn't get seen. We see her from the side, but we don't have a face to it, which shows just that she's not important. So I appreciated how they delivered on those aspects of it. But I had a good time. And because my wife and daughter are big fans of it, I can't wait to see their reaction, because I take pleasure in seeing my family and friends have a good time and them enjoying things that they love. So I'm excited for that. I had a good time, and I'm excited for them to have a good time with this.
That's you also recognizing who would and wouldn't like it. My husband not coming, I think this is a film that he would have just been like, nah. He is not as much of a musical fan as me. He likes it. I like him, but he's not. I think I'm glad he didn't come, because even though there were not a lot, the shortfalls in this film, I think, would have bugged him enough that he wouldn't have enjoyed this film. I will say there was a great debate online with this that I saw, and I want to bring up that point that Kuyapi said. We do see Dorothy. We see her in the trailer, but we never see her face. And I want to know if this is true, because if this is true, this is kind of amazing. John Chu says, apparently, one of the reasons that he did not want to show her face, other than the fact that in the musical, you only ever see her silhouette. Sometimes they'll have like her feet, but usually it's just her silhouette. So, because this is not a story about Dorothy. Dorothy impacts the story, but it's not a story about her. But he also wanted people to only remember the original story of who Dorothy was. They did not want anyone to take away from their passion from the original film, which I absolutely love. So to him, it's the same Dorothy from 1952, 1940, something like that. And I absolutely love that idea. It's
cool. I like that.
It's still that classic Dorothy. Personal opinion, for those of you who have never seen the musical, I already said this once, the second act is notably the weaker of the two acts. It's always been the weaker of the two acts. So do not go into this film expecting this to be as grandiose. I shouldn't say that. It is very grandiose. It is not as cohesive as the first story. The songs are a little bit weaker. It's not Gravity. You don't got Gravity. You have two other songs, yes, but you only have one Gravity. And so don't expect this film to be as wonderful, pun intended, as the first film, but this will get you, the songs bugged the crap out of me. I don't know why they were needed. I don't get it. But I will say that overall, this film was fun, especially for the musical nerds out there. I can definitely see why there is already a lot of conversation about some of the weaknesses, though. This was not as strong as the first film from a personal perspective. And I will say this, there is already talk about what would happen if there was a sequel. They never did a musical for Son of a Witch. They never did the musical version of it. So I highly doubt it. Please stop talking about it. Honestly, please don't put it out in the universe. I think that this is a good way to end this story and be okay. With that, we'll finish this, of course, with the very last thing, with our very last thoughts. Could you repeat anything final?
It's a good film. It's a good film. I would love to see, and actually, Heather and I talked about this with some other fans, critics at the thing. I would love to see a back-to-back release with the film, an all-encompassing package, and them do something like that. Yeah, but so that would be cool. But overall, two great films, and you can enjoy it with your family. Yeah.
Apparently, they are already doing it. I won that bet. I can't. John, I think. Who was it? Who were we talking to when we were leaving?
I can't remember.
It's when we were leaving. There was the guess of how long it would take for them to do the back-to-back marathons. I said by Christmas. Y'all, I think you said 6 months, and he said a year at the most. There are already screenings of both together. So if you really want to see both together with an intermission, I think a couple of theaters are already hosting that. If not, definitely by Christmas. I would be surprised if they didn't have those sing-alongs going and they didn't have the marathons happening. So get your tickets. Is this worth for us? Our final question is always, is this worth seeing in the theaters financially? Yes, this movie is made to be seen in theaters. It is made to be heard in theaters. However, respect the financial hold. If you cannot financially do this, we are in a very difficult economic period. This can be wait. Just make sure you can wait for this to come to stream. Just be patient. Make sure you have a really good sound system. Watch this on your TV with the best sound system if you have to wait till stream. With that, we once again, no spoilers here. Wicked for Good is out in theaters right now. Get your tickets and make some comments if you agree, disagree. Am I being too mean to Michelle Yeoh? Am I being too mean? Tell us in the comments below. If not, tell us your favorite song from both films. Which one is your favorite? And with all that, like, subscribe, share, and we will talk to y'all soon.